Hello and welcome to this Minecraft tutorial with me, Groover. Now today I have for you this wool farm that you can see behind me. As you can see, the items are popping straight on up, they're landing in the barrels and being collected. So it's kind of a nice, handy, simple system to collect your items and get them sorted straight away without loads of extra sorting systems or dozens of hoppers. This is a very low hopper setup. Basically, there's only hoppers feeding into these barrels. So this kind of looks similar to a lot of these kinds of farms, but as you can see, we're not using any rails, we're not using anything special, we're just using water to collect the items, and the items popping up. Now I should say that at the moment you're seeing a lot of items coming up because I've got the random tick speed set to 300, or maybe 200, it's very, very high. Basically, that just makes sure that the grass grows faster, which means that the sheep eat faster, blah blah blah. So yeah, this is a pretty good farm for passive collection and sorting. Okay, so these are the items that you're going to need. You're going to need around about 16 sets of shears. I would advise way more. I'd actually advise filling up all of the dispensers with shears in advance, and then you don't have to think about it. A couple of pistons and a lever. Now those you're going to get back, so you just need those available. You're not going to actually use them in the build permanently. 36 grass, you can use dirt, but you need to get at least one grass in there so that it propagates outwards. And then the rest of the items, oh yeah, lots and lots of water. Just lots of water at the ready. About 3 stacks of glass and 16 solid blocks. Right, let's go have a look at building this. Right, so the first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to lay out an 18 by 2 area of grass. You can just put down dirt and let the grass grow if you want, it doesn't really matter, but it's got to be grass eventually. Now that you've got that, we're going to come down here and we're going to place in observers in alternating blocks. Like this. And we're going to do that on both sides, but we're going to make sure that they're alternating. So it looks a bit like a zipper. We don't worry about this end block, the end block is going to get left. Right, that is what you should now have. Now the next step is we're going to place in the dispensers because we're going to push these into place later. So we're going to place these directly behind the observers just like this. And if you feel so inclined, you can place your shears straight into them now. I think that's what I'll do. Right, so that is what you now have, and you should have your shears in there as well. You can fill them up or whatever you like, it doesn't really matter. Now, next thing is we're going to be placing in 2 high glass all the way around here. So that's what you should now have, this nice circle of glass. Now, whilst we're looking at it, we're going to place a piece of glass on the top of each of these. So that is what we should now have. Next up is we're going to be placing in glass like this. So we're going to leave a gap right in front of where the observer and dispenser are on each side. So we're just going to build this up exactly like this. At this stage, I'd strongly advise doing the dye-in. So you've got them all lined up and you're going to dye them in whatever order you want. But I would say you start off from left or right, whatever. But you're going to do them like this. So white, then grey, then dark grey, then black. That one's already black. Then brown, and so on and so forth. And this is going to be the order in which they come out in. So now that you've got all of your sheep in the various positions, we're going to push these into place. So this is going to be a little bit of a pain, but not much. So all that we need to do is place in the lever like that. So 2 normal pistons, lever, and then like that. And then we can move the lever down and do that. Okay? And then we just move on to the next one. And make sure that you don't break anything. Now if you really felt inclined, you can place a piece of redstone right there or a block and do the lever on there and it'll push them both in at the same time. It's whatever you can be bothered to do, but basically all that you're wanting to do is make sure that these guys are completely encapsulated in glass. If you wanted to do this as well, if you had the pistons to spare, this is a nice simple way of just doing the entire row in one go. Right, so this is what you should now have. Next stages are very, very simple. This is actually going to turn it into a farm. So you're just going to place a solid block behind each of these observers. and then place a single piece of redstone on top of each one. So we should start to hear this clicking any moment now. Right, at this stage the farm is basically done. It's really just about the collection. So what's going to happen is the sheep are going to eat the grass below them, and the shears are going to pop because the observer recognises a state change, and then the items are going to float up to this level. Now at this stage you can choose how to do your collection. Personally, I like the collection system where you can go like this. So I'm just going to pull this forward by a few blocks. We're going to go across in this direction as well and wrap it around like that. Okay, now next step is we need to place in some barrels or some chests. We'll go for barrels because they're nice and easy to place, and they kind of look nice. So it doesn't matter how far this gets pulled forward. Right, then I'm just going to place some glass across the top of this here, which is going to make sure that when I put the water in a bit, it doesn't flow too far forward, and I'm knocking out the corners because that's how I like it. Right, now that we've done this, we need to place in the hoppers just facing into the back of them. Now this is going to make sure that every single barrel picks up each individual colour. And then across the back here, we're just going to place in the water all the way across, and that's going to flow forward. And then when the items pop up, they're going to land in the barrels. I'm sorry for this barrel mess, but it still works. You'll do this nicer than this. See, there we go. That one just fired off, it collected the item, and it dropped it straight into the barrel in front of it. So we should start seeing these popping off slowly. This is quite a passive farm. If I turn the random tick speed all the way up, there we go. When you turn the random tick speed all the way up, you can see this thing take off like crazy. Because suddenly the sheep decide to eat a lot more, it seems. And you get an idea for how things work. So the items pop up and get pushed directly forward into the barrels. And this is going to keep all of your colours in good order. Anyway guys, that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and of course if you did, please do leave a like, and if you want to see some more, drop me a subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye!